Christie, it's good to see you.
Yes, you as well.
And we got folks packing in the room already. Um,
Awesome.
so we'll kick things right off. First of all, this to get our audience acquainted. Thanks for being here. You are joined or have joined a Profit First Professionals webinar. We're going to talk with Christie, who is a PFP, and learn about her experience, what she's done to grow her business. Maybe there's some tips you can use to grow your business. I just want to make sure the chat is functioning properly for everybody. So here's what we're going to do. At the bottom of the chat on your screen, change it, all of us, change it to everyone. And I want to make sure you can hear us. So just tell us where you're checking in from right now and what's the weather like? My number one question. Christie, what's the weather like where you are? Where are you and what's the weather like?
So I am in East Texas, and it was cold this morning for us being Southern, because it was 45, but now it's like 70. So I'm in a sweater with my sleeves pulled up now because it was cold this morning.
Right? Right. That's this time of year. It seems out throughout the US. I'm in
Yeah.
Jersey and it was below 30. Let's see who else is here. We got Ohio, 63, San Diego, overcast in San Diego. That's unheard of. Detroit, 63. That's the winning temperature. Oh, Melissa's from College Station, Texas.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it's pretty close.
That's pretty cool, right? Charleston's here. Thanks everyone for joining in. So our goal
Hey,
is to spend
everyone.
about a half hour just learning together. I invite, as you're watching, turn off the distractions. It's so easy to say, oh, I'll do email or something. And then you miss the tip and say, what was that? Or I didn't hear. And I want this to be full of ideas and tips that you can take away. So, Chrissy, why don't we just start by sharing your story? And I'm just going to fire questions off at you. Tell
Yeah.
me, how did you get into this? Not probably first initially, but how did you get into the business of bookkeeping, the accounting space? Tell me all that stuff.
So actually, it started off really young. So in the eighth grade, I was from a really small town. We did shadowing with local businesses, and I shadowed the local CPA. Fell in love with accounting right then and there.
In eighth
And
grade.
then yeah, in the eighth grade. And so I took accounting classes in high school. Actually, they were offered where I attended.
Mhm.
And then after that, I worked for tax offices while I was going to school to get my bachelor's and now beyond for accounting and business. And I've just loved it ever since. So I started off as a tax practice, and then we've slowly just grown from there to offer more services, of course, as knowledge and things like that and experience have increased.
And so that's interesting. And thanks for all the other folks who've joined in. I see more folks joining in. Guten Tag, Deutschland, and all the folks from the US here. So here's the first question I have. I want you to post in the chat. When did you fall in love with your industry? And maybe you haven't yet. Was it eighth grade? So, Christy, so you fall in love in eighth grade. You start taking classes in it.
Yeah.
Did you plan? What's your business right now exactly? What's the service offering or suite of things
So
you do?
currently we are a full service accounting firm. So for
Okay.
us, that means taxes, bookkeeping, payroll, and what we call tax strategy. We
Okay.
don't like to call it tax planning. We call it strategy. We're pretty specific in the portions that we offer that with our clients.
Why why did you differentiate tax strategy from tax compliance or tax planning? What's the significance of that?
Well, for one, we're not financial advisors, and people I feel sometimes will get confused about what that offering is. And so calling it strategy just really helps everyone to have a better understanding on I am giving strategies on how you can possibly save on taxes, better your retirements, things like that. And while it is great for tax benefits, I can't set that up for you. I'm not a
Yeah.
financial advisor. I can't give you some other insight into certain markets because that's just not my forte, of course, and I'm not licensed. So we
Mm,
call it strategy. I give them a few strategies every quarter that they can choose to implement or not in their company.
gotcha. Gotcha. And I see in the chat some folks are sharing their stories of when they got excited about counting 4 years ago from Melissa. I'm curious also in the chat, why don't you tell us the industry you're in? What's the suite of your services? Post that in the chat so it'll give us some context as we move along here. So, Christy, so you offer a full suite of accounting services.
Yeah.
Uh, when did you start the current business that you have today? When did you start it?
I started the current structure 11 years ago.
Okay. Was that the first time you owned a business, or did you own a business prior?
I owned a business before accounting. So I
And-
used to actually sell Polish pottery of all things. Definitely not my jam, but they're really pretty dishes.
Okay, so very niche. But then 11 years ago, you pursue your passion that you discovered in
Yes.
eighth grade. You start your accounting practice. What was the start like, and what was like growing that business?
The start was really hard. So my husband was military for over 10 years. So to try and start a company when you're constantly moving every year and a half was difficult because that was before the do it all online stage. So
Right.
everyone was very much, we need to see you, sit with you, be there, do the
Hmm.
things. And so it was very difficult to grow my business in the beginning. However, as we moved, I did obtain clients who have stuck with me through all the different duty stations and have become, very happy with the online part of that service. And now then we're completely remote and we have been for several years. We just went all the way remote. The only meetings I have are like this, which are virtual. I hardly ever see anyone in person anymore.
That's so interesting. And I'm just curious for our audience too. We got so many folks that are joining in. Everyone that joined, some people are joining late. The very bottom of the chat section, change it to everyone. Here's the question: what percentage of your work is remote today? So just share that percentage. Half, more, less. I'm curious. And Sandy, okay, they're already coming in. Sandy's 100%. Dave's 100%. Jillian's 0%. But Jillian, I think you're an acupuncturist, so I think that's why. 100%. Okay. So you move virtual. I now want to kind of jump forward, and we're going to be jumping around here. Uh, what you're a profit first, you're a certified profit first professional.
Yes.
You've taken your business, my perception is, to another level.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about, first I want to know, what's the level you're at now? And then I want to learn all the backstory. So what's it like being a profit first professional, and how's that transformed your business?
Oh my God, completely transformed, completely. So, to be honest, I was juggling a lot of things. My husband was working full time still away from the house all the time. So, overseas contractor, truck driving after the military. So, always gone, never home. We have 6 children.
Oof.
Um,
I mean,
and
it's
so,
great. That's great. My
and
first
I
reaction was like,
just,
whoa, it's a lot to manage. Yeah.
I was working like all the time,
Yeah.
working mornings, evenings, afternoons, of course, all the time, answering my phone on the weekends, answering my phone on holidays like Easter and Thanksgiving. People still call you then. Just feeling like constantly overwhelmed, like a lot of phone calls, but
Yeah.
not really making the money I felt I should be making to be
Yeah.
working as much as I was working. I was like, for this many hours, at $10 an hour, I could be rolling in the dough, and
Oh,
I'm
really?
not.
So, I mean, was that the equivalent
Yeah,
based on the hours you're working? You could make, you're netting $10 an hour. Is that fair?
not even. I don't even think
Really?
I was even making that much. I could have made more money working at McDonald's than what I was doing working for myself.
Do you remember? And if you're willing to share the revenue number, it'd be great. But do you remember what the revenue was pre profit first? So maybe your final year before you joined their organization.
Yeah, before a profit first, I was making about $7,000, $8,000 a month. And that's
Okay.
before expenses, that's before anything. That was just my income number.
Okay. So gross around $100,000,
Mhm.
and that was gross. And then you've all these expenses. Did you have staff too to help with that? Or
So I have some contract staff, and they it's just during tax season.
and what were the hours? You're working Easter and Thanksgiving. It sounds like, what were the hours like? Would you say typical? And how many days a week were you working that were typical?
I was working 7 days a week. I was working 7 days a week, burning the candle at both ends is what I
Okay.
was doing. And then, I mean, really, my kids go to school by 7:30, so I was working from 7:30 a.m. until well after they're in bed, probably 9, 10 o'clock. And even sometimes then, if the phone rang at 10 o'clock and I was awake, I was answering it. So
Oh my.
literally all day.
All right. So who here in the chat, even more folks have joined in. So in the chat, change it to everyone at the bottom. Who can relate to Christie's story? I've been there.
Yeah.
I remember Christie myself. There was a period of time I went 5 days without seeing sunlight, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I would get to work at 6 in the morning, right before the sun was coming up. And it was in the winter, but I was working until 8 o'clock at night. I didn't see sunlight for 5 consecutive days. Jillian's 1,000% with
Yeah.
you. So yeah, who can relate to
Yeah.
Christie's story of working these extraordinary hours? Um,
It's hard when
so
you're a people pleaser. So like
yeah, and is that part of it?
you want them. Yes, I think it is because I want to be there for my clients and I don't want them to feel like I'm the accountant who won't answer the phone. So many
Yeah.
clients come to you and they're like, My last guy wouldn't answer the phone, couldn't return an email, or last lady, man, whoever. And so you don't want to be that accountant. I love my clients and I want to help them. I want to be there for them. I want to, the ups, the downs, the everything. And I really care about them, but also just like that people pleasing, like I'm available to you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, always just really isn't that sustainable.
It's not. I mean, it's a big differentiator. I want to shout out to Amy, Jillian, Karen, Melissa, who are commenting. Karen, everyone can
Yeah.
relate to you. Melissa said something really interesting. She says, I'm a recovering people pleaser but don't you have to be a people pleaser to retain your clients? Isn't that a differentiator? Is that why you were doing it? I know it's who you are, but also didn't clients value
Yeah.
that?
They did, kind of. I mean, if
Okay.
they valued that, they would have paid more, right, for that
That's a good point.
service.
That's a
And
good
the
point.
thing is that once I started raising prices, some of those neediest clients left. Like they gone. So, I mean, there's got to be a good balance there. And with children, I just didn't have a good balance. I mean, I was there, but I was present. Like my presence was there. I was not present. And
So
so
interesting.
now it's different. Um, and so really, whenever you set the boundaries, like everyone's saying, you get the boundaries in place over time. The right clients stay. The right clients come to you. Those
Yes.
who can respect that you too have a personal life. And while I am here 1,000,000,000% for my clients during specific hours, that is when I am here for you. The
I
other
love
time,
that.
I do need to eat and shower and care for my family.
Yeah. 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 You got 7 children, right? Your husband's one of them. I mean, I'm
6.
kidding.
Well,
That's
yeah.
what my
Oh,
wife
yeah, my
says.
husband. He's a good help. So he is a
Good.
good help. He is no longer gone. And we can get into where I'm at now with him later.
Well, I want to talk about where the business is. I do want to acknowledge Amy Welnick said specifically the right clients respect the boundaries.
Yes.
Jillian's talking about this. Joanne's talking about too, not answering the phones. So we got to take care of our customers before through availability. You made $100,000 in revenue. If you're willing to share, what's the trajectory you're on, or how much have you made in the last year? Since you've been a prop first professional, are you making more money? Is it the same?
Oh, I'm making
Less?
quite a bit more money. So now then we're up to about $28,000 a month before expenses.
Hold on. All right. I thought you were saying up 28,000 in total. So it actually caught me off guard.
A month.
A
A
month.
month.
So you're
A month.
you made a little bit less than 100,000, 98,000, 96,000 with your full service accounting, as I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Now you're making 28 a month. Is that roughly 300 and something thousand, 350,000?
Yeah, we haven't even been our first year of profit first certified yet. Literally, I did like not even up to a whole year just yet. The 28K has came in the past few months. Before that, I was finally up to 22, but now I'm at 28 in the past couple of months here. And so a huge, huge jump in income for my firm and for my family. Obviously, I'm doing profit first. So 50% of that is my paycheck
Oh my
every
God, that
month,
must be
which is
massive.
fabulous. And so my
So,
husband is home full time because now then I am able to fully support my family.
oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
So I think as I heard that, I'm surprised. I thought, and I listen, I wrote Profit First. There's folks listening in. I totally presume it should be skeptical. Like,
Yeah.
did Profit First cause that? Maybe Profit First is a cascade. How much influence, honestly and fairly, did Profit First have over that kind of growth and also the money that you're making personally?
So a lot actually, because even whenever I was just making a little bit of money, the thing is that before profits first, my operating expenses were super high. I literally spent all of my money on my business. I didn't
Yes.
take any of my money. I didn't spend it wasn't coming to me, to my family, to us. It wasn't supporting us in any way. It was just me always working and the money absorbed into the business. Like it was
Yeah.
always like, well, now that we're making this, like we need another software, we got to pay for this and I need this, and it was just always in the business. It was never separated. So profits first really helped me to differentiate, like, okay, if this is my money, my operating expenses are so out of range. This is ridiculous. We've got to either more money needs to come or the OpEx has to go down, like something has to change. And that took a lot of time to go through that, of course. And actually, now that we had a really good tech stack going, and as we've grown, I haven't had to add any more expenses for my technology.
Oh, I love
Being
that.
remote, we don't have a lot of office expenses. And also with the software, I'm not paying per client. So my software has really remained the same with our current tech stack. It's been fabulous.
I want to invite Joanne, Amy, Jillian, Karen, uh, Amy Welnick, and anyone else that did this. Raise your right hand, pat yourself on the back, because it's just nice, supportive words to Christie. When you shared the transformation in your business, you get nice congrats. There's celebratory emoticons. I love the support of everyone here, of you and of each other.
Yeah,
That's
thanks,
what
you
makes
guys.
this community so extraordinary. So I want to talk about the brass tacks with profit first. So you do
Yeah.
profit first for yourself.
Oh, yes.
You do it for your clients.
I do.
Okay. What before we talk about how you're able to charge for it and so forth, what's been the impact on them? Do they experience gains in their business? Do they see you differently? Tell me all that perspective.
So, yes, I do have clients that are seeing transitions in their businesses. Not all of them so much in making more money like I did in the
Mhm.
company itself, but definitely making more money to pay themselves personally.
Okay, so
And
more
so,
profit, even with consistent revenue, you have them making more money.
yeah, well, they're spending themselves more money. They're
That's what I'm
going
saying.
from not paying, like having $1 million business and not taking a paycheck,
Oh,
to all
yeah,
of a sudden now then we're taking a paycheck and we
yeah,
have tax money put aside. And we have our profit account, which for a lot of my clients, that's like a vacation every quarter, a super great date night, depending on where they're at, of course, in their business as to
sure,
what that profit account looks like and whether or not there's debt. Because you do talk about that a lot. Like the profit account really needs to help eradicate the debt as much
sure.
as possible. My clients still who have debt will celebrate a win with the profit account. So
So smart.
sometimes that is a bottle of wine and staring at the stars. But either way, it is a celebration. And then once we're getting rid of the debt, I have clients who are doing vacations with that money. So think about not paying yourself like I was, but you
Yeah,
have $1 million business,
there's
to
so much profit
paying
waiting to be had.
yourself, to paying yourself like 50% of that. And I mean, it's really been a changer for my clients and their lifestyle from we're so broke, I don't know what we're doing. Everything has gone to we're on payroll because some of them don't trust themselves to take money in a like an owner's draw, so they put themselves on payroll. It's running automatically, salaried employee coming out of there, and so they're just doing it differently.
Do they, with that transformation of business, do they attribute that back to you? I'm working with Christie. She introduced profit first to me. She's holding me accountable to it. Do they see you as the provider of all these wins for them?
Yes, and they actually refer me clients because of it, because of the
Boom.
wins
I
that they're
love
seeing. So
I love that.
whenever they're talking to other friends who are in the same industry, because our industry is also pretty niche specific. So we help the construction contractor industry. So roofing, HVAC, plumbing, that type of space. And so whenever you have a group of roofers who are together and they're like, man, we're doing all these roofs, but I ain't got no money. They're like, you need to talk to Christie. She helped us in our company and now we pay ourselves. For someone to say that in that industry is huge.
Yeah, because I assume as an accounting professional, that there's a lot of shoot the messenger stuff going on. April
Yeah.
15th just happened, and it's like, oh, I owe taxes. You stink to the accountant. You're just carrying the news. But did you experience that before? And has Profit First, do they see you now as this hero because you're bringing them money as opposed to taking money?
Yeah, and so it's really been a big change. So the thing is with our firm, because of our industry, most of our clients owe, and they have. So most of them owe. We don't do a lot of people who
Right.
get refunds just because of the people who are our
Mhm.
clients. However, a lot of those clients used to be stressed out, like, oh my God, we owe 25, $35,000,
Yeah.
and I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Versus now then we owe 25, 35. Oh my God, Christie, we have 40 grand. We owe 35. We have 40 grand in the tax account. I'm going to get on there and I'm going to pay that today. I'm going to have it taken out of the banking account. It's done. So from stressed of not having any tax money to having it, I always tell my clients, it always sucks to pay taxes. It just
Yeah.
does.
It
Nobody
does.
wants to, but we have to. But
Yeah.
you know what? It sucks a whole lot less when you have the money to pay it versus when you don't have the money to pay it.
For sure. So I'm curious for our folks, and thanks for everyone participating so well. in the chat, have you ever experienced shoot the messenger? Meaning, have you ever gotten complaints or people pointing the finger at you, even though you're just delivering what the law requires, tax compliance? I'm curious. Post that in the chat. This is so interesting. So you're able to flip that model. I'm curious now about your pricing, your rates. You said you were underpricing people and you're a people pleaser. At least that's the things I heard.
Yeah, way underpricing.
Okay.
Way underpricing.
Were you able to reframe your pricing by offering Profit First and these more consultative services? And if so, how did you adjust that?
So with going through, of course, Profits First University and going through, and of course, whenever you do that, then you get a really awesome, like superstar life coach kind of thing.
Oh, who are you
So
working
mine
with
is
at Profit
Aaron.
First?
I think y'all call them Profit First professional guides.
Guys,
But however, life coaches, okay, seriously, like she is the best person.
Aaron Rose is
And
amazing.
so I raised my prices for a lot of my clients. Whenever we're getting close to that contract renewal time, that's what I did. I sent out like, our packages are changing and they're more beneficial to our clients. With that, our pricing has also changed. And so I sent them a new contract with new scope of work and price increase. There was a few clients that we fired during that. We didn't choose to renew their contract. We said, thank you, but it's time to break up. This is not a good fit. And so we wish you all the best in the future. And here is your closing package with all of the information enclosed. Please let us know if there's something else that you need, like break up on good terms.
Yeah.
And then the other ones, we increased prices. So I have clients who went from paying like $300 a month to paying $1,500 a month, and I got very little pushback.
It's such a leap. I mean, it's a 400 times or 500 times increase. How do you quote unquote justify that? Do you explain in the past we mispriced? Do you say we're implementing Profit First and new techniques, therefore we can dictate this? Is the combination? How'd you do it?
Yeah, so the amount of services and access to me make a huge difference in our prices.
Yeah.
And so part of that is the access to me, but also not being available 1,000,000% of the time. And so when we told our clients about the new services that would be offered and the entirely new scope of work, with it's not just reconciling an account once a month. It's really getting way more involved with our clients and helping them and we care about them personally too. This is not just business. We want to know that they can support their families and achieve personal goals. And most of my clients were like, you should have raised your prices a long time ago. I knew we weren't paying you enough money.
Yeah.
And so
You're right. And they're not going to
really
come to you and say,
very
hey, you
little
should charge
pushback.
more. They'll never say you
No,
should
they're
charge
not going
more.
to tell you that.
Yeah. But ironically, I think also at the same time, they want you to be profitable, because if you're not, that means you can't be available. If you're not making enough money, you have to work harder, crazier. So I guess subconsciously, they probably got it and they accepted it when it presented itself.
Yeah. And, most of our clients we are very friendly with. So I really have personal relationships with our clients. This is not someone who I talked to one time at tax time and we're done. These are clients that, we are talking on the phone, sometimes weekly even. We're having a conversation about things. And when we talk, where it's not just, hey, what was check number such and such for? It was, so how are the kids? Did ballet go good? Was her recital fabulous?
The human
Like, I
connection.
know about their personal life and they also know a lot about mine as well. So we're really connected on a different level, not just clients.
Yeah.
That's not all this is to me. And so whenever I tell them why we're increasing prices, like I said, very, very little pushback. A couple of clients, we chose to increase their prices staggered over a few months or so to help them get to there, not all at one time. But again, that was kind of a selective thing. Once I had sent out the new scope of work with the price increase and they reached out to me and it's like, hey, and I was like, let's do this.
So interesting. What I'm hearing is traditional accounting, it's compliance oriented. What happened in the past? I got to calculate the numbers. Just the conversation of how the kids, are you working towards your goals? It sounds like the whole dialogue is around future thinking. I do want to share, Amy was so kind to share in the chat that she did have a client break up with her back in the old days because they had a tax bill. And it was actually a PIA client. So it was kind of a blessing to lose them. But it's interesting how people shoot the messenger. So tell me about, when it comes to Profit First, how do you engage a new customer with it? Do they recognize the brand? Do you have to say, here's something I do and they never heard it before? Is there an advantage to having the brand?
So I've actually had one person who recognized Profit First, who knew some about it. And my other ones, I've really been introducing it to them. And so I do not do presentations though. I
Okay.
have a presentation. I built one. I don't, it's not my jam. I'm not good in a presentation. I sound like I am a kindergartner trying to read like words off a page. It's
So
horrible. It's
that's not your thing.
horrible.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
is not my thing. Conversations like this flow for me and they're so easy. And if I
Mm.
have to, then I will share my screen and pull up a couple of things for better explanations for clients. But usually I'm talking to someone like this and I just tell them, what if we can get you to a paycheck
Oh, I love
where
that.
you're actually paying yourself? And then, like the client that I have, what if we don't have to worry about not making that mortgage payment and you're paying yourself, the bills are taken care of, and we're also prepared for those emergency medical expenses when they come up. Because that was one of my client's issues was emergency medical expenses just kept popping up.
Yes.
And he just wasn't prepared. And I'm like, what if we could be prepared for these
I
things?
love that.
You know? And now then I have clients who maybe can't really afford my packages, but they're like, you just tell me what to stop paying for to pay for your services, and that's what we'll do. And that's where
Mm.
we've transformed to. They're not even having to think, like, well, let me interview some more accountants. They're like, what do I stop paying for to pay you? Because I need this and I want to get there.
So, what I would love is you're doing future kind of visionary questions. What if?
Yeah.
What if? In the chat, I'm just curious. Do you have a great question that you ask your client or prospect? I should say a great question you ask your prospect to help them engage with what you could offer them. I'm curious what those questions are. So you ask them, "What if?" Then do you introduce Prop first and say, "Well, I have a tool. I'm certified." How do you make that transition to how you can provide those dreams?
Yeah, and so most of our clients, when they come to us, just aren't even paying themselves. Like all of the money is being absorbed back into the business. Their operating expenses are so high. And also, they're swiping a lot of their business card for personal stuff. They're just
Mm.
like, swiping it to go to Walmart for, groceries or whatever because they're seeing that bank balance and they don't, like you say in the book, like looking at the personal bank, no money. We didn't put any in there. It's all
Right.
on the business account. We're swiping it. And so, really, just talking with them about what if we were paying ourselves weekly or bi-weekly. We can what works for them. It's not a one size fits all kind of thing. We're putting that money into our personal banking account and we can see it and we are having a paycheck.
But do you
Because most
tell
of
them that
them are
you have a
like, we're broke.
methodology you're certified in? How do you tell them you're going to help
I
them?
do tell them that I am Profits First certified.
Okay.
I also, so our clients who do our $1,500 a month package, we send them a free book. We go through that. I tell them all the ways that I don't get credit when you buy the book. It's just something that we love if you want to purchase it on your own before they want to become clients. I'm
Yeah.
like, look, it's on Amazon, it's on Audible, it's on Kindle. Like,
Right.
seriously, like if you don't like to read, listen to it in the car when you're driving, and I get no credit for that. When they sign up, though, we send them a free copy of the book, and I got some little things that are tagged and earmarked that are like, this is really needs your eyes on it. It's really great to look at, kind of thing. A lot of them really like the hand holding package more than anything. They want to be handheld through what am I supposed to do? Which is,
Yeah.
first of all, set up your banking accounts, like open up your accounts. And then we have meetings. They're like, how much do I do in each account? And so I tell them we have a little spreadsheet and I tell them exactly how much to transfer when they need to do their transfers. Like I really handhold them through that and guide them through it. So that way there's not confusion around what they're supposed to do. And it takes a quarter or so of really hand holding them through. And then they're like, we
Mm.
got this. Like, we got this. I know what to do. I'm good to go. And I cannot have to handhold as much.
That's what I find so interesting is that people read Profit First and then they want to make sure they're doing it right. And that's when they seek out a professional
Mhm,
or a
mhm.
professional says, you have a vision. And by the way, there's great questions in the chat. What keeps you up at night? That came from Karen. Melissa was talking about what do you love about your business? You asked that question, what's the future look like? So you either they've discovered Profit First and they've read the book, but they don't know they're doing it right, or they have these worries, and then you can introduce
Yeah,
Profit First. And even if they read the book, like you said, buy the book, they
yeah,
understand the concept. They need the guidance. It's kind of like someone that wants to start exercising. You probably want a professional trainer to make sure you don't injure yourself.
yeah.
So okay.
Or
Um,
if you want to build muscle, you probably shouldn't just get on the treadmill every time. So
right,
you need
yeah,
someone
the
to tell you
default to
what to
their
do.
preference,
Yeah,
they won't know what the proper exercise suite is. And it sounds like you can introduce like
yeah.
a more robust training to them.
We do. We help. We really do. Like I said, that first quarter is a lot of hand holding with them just to help everything go off without ease. And I tell them, like, look, if it's not working, we just go back to the drawing board. We're going to move some things around. Like, this is not a set in stone. This is what you have to do kind of plan. And whenever you give someone a little bit of rope, some leeway where they know that if something doesn't happen, the business isn't going to close down,
Yeah. Yeah.
then they're way more open to that. Way more open it. Oh, thanks so much, Miss Joanne, my website. Yes, so I do crazy colors because I'm not a typical accountant, so I have hot pink and teal. Also, with some of my clients, we drop, a few eloquent words in there that aren't, meant to be on podcast. But like my clients, like I said, it's a very friendly
Yeah.
relationship. It's not just a business. What keeps me up at night? Usually my farm animals. It's about the only thing. I have been getting so much better sleep since I started charging more and
Oh, I
charging
love hearing that.
my
And
works.
Christie, and Karen was sharing that, Christie, because I asked what questions you ask your clients. And it's interesting. So you're not up at night anymore, just your farm animals.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about Profit First Professional specifically, because some folks are interested. I'll share the link, by the way. We are accepting members right now. So if you're interested, let me just put the link in the chat. I invite everyone to click on it just to see if it loads. Does membership pay for itself is the first question.
1 million fold, 1 million fold. So, I mean, literally from like 8,000 a month, essentially, to 28 a month.
Yeah.
Since Profits First, since
Yeah.
getting certified, going through the classes, attending, there's like not just like the little classes, there's like so much more involved in there in the membership. And plus, like, your own personal superhero, also called a Profit First Guide, that you get with you. I mean, it is so worth it. I mean, I was going from like charging $250, $300 a month for like full service accounting services to my middle package is $1,500 a month. Like,
yeah, and part of that, so you're working with Erin
oh,
Moser. She's one of our guides, superhero.
yes.
I like that term better.
Yes.
She's trained on working on the psychology of business and also implementing the brand and leveraging it fully. Is it both those components you've experienced with Erin?
Oh yeah, it's been fabulous. Because even so, before Profits First, too, my prices were so low. So I was used to closing like 99.9% of deals. If I was talking to somebody, I was closing the deal
Yeah.
because obviously I wasn't charging hardly
Yeah.
anything. So
Yeah.
it was closed. And then as soon as I increased my prices after Profits First University, I'm going through that. I told Erin, I was like, Erin, I have done 30 meetings and I have not closed a deal. Like, something is broken. I'm broken. My business is broke. Something is wrong because I'm used to closing deals. And I was like, not closing, but I'm being ghosted. Like, I don't get it. And so she was like, do an A/B test. Send some of them this, send some this. Just ask. Like, hey, what's the deal? Business owner to business owner. What could I have done differently? Or how can I assist you? Kind of thing. I closed several deals just doing that. Like, she is amazing at helping you do that. And I just had to tweak some stuff. Really, I just had to tweak a few things. It's not like I went through the university and I had everything all figured out. Like, here's the perfect platter to do everything. I really have to go through it and kind of make some things my own. Like, I don't do presentations. They're not my thing.
Which is fine. Then you don't. We believe that every business is about 5% away from tremendous success. If it's been struggling, it's a few changes. So I noticed folks considering Profit First. One person shared, they contacted us, and we're very careful in telling people the right move to make. In a very early stage business, sometimes it's not right. So sometimes we discourage people from doing it now. When do you think is the right time, from your experience joining PFP, when do you know this is the time you should start considering something like this, or this specifically?
So I think the requirement was that you had to be like over $120,000 in revenue. And it's because there's a monthly investment price with Profit First. Again, 100,000,000% worth it. But what I would suggest is that if you really want to be a Profits First professional, maybe this isn't the time for your business financially, because they're not going to have you get in a situation where you can't afford it.
Right.
Open up a separate account, call it Profits First, and start putting some money into there every month. Maybe here in 6 months, when you have a meeting with someone again, you can say, hey, I've been putting this much aside into this account and
That's
I
so
am ready
smart.
to start Profits First University. And they will see that and you will be in. I
Yeah.
will tell you that whenever I first had my interview to join, they were very specific about ensuring that I could afford the investment price. So that way I didn't have a severe impact on my company and just have to get right back out.
Yeah,
Um,
I think what's unique, and tell me if this has been your experience, is yeah, so a membership account or profit first account, but we call it a member account typically to reserve. Uh, we charge a flat monthly fee, regardless of your revenue. We don't share in your revenue. This is not a franchise
no,
organization.
no.
So I assume this year you'll probably make more revenue and next year, and that all goes to your
Mhm,
bottom line. Is that what
mhm.
you're experiencing? And do you like that kind of model,
Yeah,
that setup? Does
I
it serve you?
do.
Okay.
I do. I mean, I absolutely love it. I mean, absolutely love it. I mean, if I knew what I know now, I would have done Profits First like forever ago.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
would have been there like right when you released it. Like we would have been on this because it has been a game changer for my business, for my family, for everything. My whole all of it. I mean, I just couldn't be more grateful. It has been fantastic. And not to mention that, I mean, like this tax season, we just got through. So most tax seasons, 7 days a week, sun up to sundown, just grinding at it.
Yes.
I hired a few contractors who I've had through tax seasons who worked with me. I worked half days for most of tax season.
Oh, I
Not all of
love
it,
it.
but most of tax season. I only also didn't work Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and I took off like 5 days on the Easter weekend to go camping with my family. And guess what?
Amazing.
It
Amazing.
all went fabulously because I have also been letting go of the reins just a little bit. But really, my time is the most valuable. You can make more money, but you cannot make more time. And
So,
so I have children and I need to be present with, but I love my business too. It's a passion. So I've been finding that great balance.
so your revenue has gone up a multiple of a 300%
Oh,
growth,
you,
400%
yeah.
growth. Your time, you were what I heard was 7 days a week, 7:30 in the morning till sometimes 10 o'clock at night. But let's say 12-hour days.
Yeah.
That's an 80-hour week or more. What's your work week like now, time wise?
20-ish hours.
20. That's what I want. I didn't realize it was that little.
Yeah, 20-ish hours. It kind of depends. Some weeks is closer to 25 and some weeks is closer to 15. So on average, I'm about 20 hours a week and I don't work weekends. I also turn my phone on silent and put it in the office. Because we have a property where we live, and so I have a small little tiny office out here for my remote work. I leave it locked away and it's on silent so that way I can't
Amazing.
even hear it. We don't answer on the weekends at all.
Um, I have one last question for you. I just want to answer some stuff in the chat.
Yeah.
I posted the link. So everyone, we're interested. If you're interested in joining, we are accepting members right now. Tammy did ask, you need a degree? No, you don't need necessarily experience as an accountant or be a degreed accountant. We have coaches that work with our organization. We have bookkeepers. You should have an established business. I think starting out with Profit First without having any form
Hmm.
of services to clients yet is premature. But check that out. Christie, want to give you one last chance before we wrap things up. I want to thank everyone. Everyone stayed for the full cycle. Thanks for supporting Christie. I hope you learned something. Hope you decide to at least check out membership by applying, and we'll have a dialogue. If it's not a fit, we'll call it. If it is a fit, then we'll pursue having a similar experience to what Christie had for you. Christie, just
Yeah.
some final thoughts. If someone wants to transform their business, maybe Profit First is the way to go, maybe not. But what's your final thoughts on what folks can or should do because you've experienced it?
So ask yourself who said always. So if you are tired of working 50 hours a week, who said that you had to?
Mm,
So I always use the thing with dishes, like everybody says, wash the dishes before you put them in the dishwasher. Who said? They do not live here. They do not pay my bills. I'm going to do what I want to. And if I break my dishwasher, then I got to buy a new one. You're not going to break your business. Take time to spend time with your family. Definitely put the boundaries in place. And if you're scared about, I mean, obviously, I made a huge price increase in my company, and that can be very scary for some people. but start increasing your prices just a small amount even. If you're charging $300 for taxes like I was, or bookkeeping services, this next tax season increase by $100, go up to
Mm.
400. Increase by $100. The right clients will stay with you. The right clients will pay that service, and they'll love you even more for charging definitely what you're worth.
Christie, tremendous insights. Thanks for doing this. Everyone, thanks for joining today. I hope you took lots of notes and ideas. Thank you for sharing your ideas. And I shared the link earlier. We'd love for you to check out Profit First
Yeah,
Professionals and perhaps consider membership.
definitely. Profit first is definitely the way to go.
You rock. All right. Be well, Christie. Everyone, have a good afternoon. Thanks for joining
Thanks,
us.
guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.